So I think I figured out how to go viral online. And in case you don't know me, my name's Vanessa, Vonnie Audio on Instagram. Make sure to go follow. I figured out how to go viral online. And how I figured it out was I did a little experiment. I posted one reel a day to see how it went. And one of them landed me 500 followers in one day. Now, what does that mean for you in your freelancing audio business? Well, all those followers were actually filmmakers. And then my DMs got flooded with people wanting to, one, just get free advice, and then two, actually wanting to hire me for their projects. So if you want to leverage your social media presence, here's what you need to be doing. You need to start making sound design breakdowns. Today, I'm going to show you exactly how to make them. First things first, you're going to need the free software, OBS Studio. So once you have that downloaded, first thing we're going to do is go to our preferences, and we're going to go to the video tab. So typically what we see is 1080 by 1080, but in this case, we actually want a 4:5 aspect ratio. So you can take up most of the space, and that's going to be a 1080 by 1350. We're going to make a new sequence right here. Let's call it sound design timeline view. Now we have, as you see, we have the 1080 by 1350 format. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to add a color source, and we're just going to add a white background here. I like to have a white background. You can have whatever color you want. I just think it looks cleaner. Oh, and just a reminder, I have some free wishes for you down in the description below. They've recently been used in the reboot of Legends of the Hidden Temple, which was my favorite show as a kid. Completely free. Go ahead and grab them. The next thing we're going to do here is have the setup for your DAW timeline. So I'm going to use Reaper. I'm going to have it set up like this so that you still have the timeline, but then you also have the video source, right? So we're going to go back to OBS, and we are going to add a display capture. Now, the reason why I do a display capture versus a window capture is because sometimes you don't catch everything that's being shown. So I find the easiest way to avoid things like that is just to do a display capture. So we're going to do two. The first one's going to be for Reaper. And so once we have this set up, first thing we're going to do is go to the crop, and we're going to do 2 window and manual. And then we're going to go down to the Reaper DAW that we see there. First thing we want to do is kind of size it up so that it's kind of aligned on the bottom half of the screen. And to do the fine details to make sure everything's aligned, just use the arrow keys. And then we're going to go down to the crop session. And what we want to do is kind of get rid of that excess stuff. So like when we see the program, I don't want to really see the window bars, anything like that. We're just trying to get rid of what's non-essential. I only want to see the DAW itself and the tracks. So we got it cropped, and now we're just going to adjust as necessary to get it back to where we wanted to line up. Now we're going to do the same thing with the video. So back again, we're going to add a display capture source. Let's just name this Reaper Video DAW. And the same thing on the crop, we're going to go to window and manual. There we can see right there, it says Reaper Video Window. So same thing as last time, we're going to make the adjustments necessary. I don't want to see any of the black bars. I just want to see the video frame. Sometimes depending on the video itself, it might overlap with the DAW. It's up to you if you want to size up the DAW so that that's shorter and you want to see more of the video, if you want to cut the video or size the video differently. But what I like to do is kind of try to do both. So there's a push and pull between both of them. All right, I'm going to size it up because I want to make sure it's hitting at the actual length. I'd rather lose more information on the top and the bottom than try to do one or the other. So let's crop accordingly. All right, so even with all of that, there's still some of the DAW overlapping. And what I'm going to do instead is just kind of transform the DAW. So I'm just kind of squeezing it down a bit. I'm just going to play around with the size. Obviously, I only want this on the y-axis. And then I'm going to have to reposition this because as you can see, there's a little bit more of the white on the bottom. Let me move that down. All right, well, we are at the halfway point, I promise. Take this time to subscribe to Sound Design 101 if you haven't already. So now, as you can see, this is what you normally see on my kind of videos. Very clean cut. So if you want everything all in one, the next thing we're going to do is add some text. And this is more so if you want to do like breakdowns where you're showing slides of like, here's just the sound effects, here's just the Foley. You can do it all within the video. So I'm going to go down, add another source, and I'm going to add text. And let's just type in full mix. And the actual sizing, that's up to you. I just try to have it just big enough so that I can see a little bit from afar, but not too big where it's taking up the whole picture. Obviously, we want to get some of that screen real estate. You can use any font that you want. I find the ones that's a bit more condensed, the better, so that it's still large, but it's not taking up so much of the bottom screen. I personally love the font Mom Cake for this. It's kind of like my branding font, if you will. You're going to do this obviously for all your breakdowns. So I make a copy, then a duplicate, and then I name it, let's just say Foley for the next one. And then I just, on the little eye icon, I click on that so it hides it. And so when I'm recording the next take of just like the Foley or just the sound effects, I hide the full mix and then I unhide the Foley. Whew, okay. Getting audio out of your DAW into OBS is a challenge. And it totally depends on your setup, right? So since that is the case, down in the description below, I'm going to give you links to different approaches you can take to get audio out of your DAW. Everyone's use case is different. What everyone has is different. And I'm not going to bore you with all the different walkthroughs. But if you have any questions at all, or if you need any help at all, I will do my absolute best to answer it. So before we start recording, let's go to the preferences, go to our output, and then go to recording tab. These are the settings I use, so I think this is the settings that you should use if you want some good quality. And then there we have it. So we're gonna hit start recording. Obviously there will be audio on your end. That totally depends on how you do it. You can always do this after the fact. So I'm gonna hit start recording. Let's just move this away. Let's press play in our timeline. I have my mouse in here because I'm just showing it to you, but ideally you wouldn't want your mouse in it. You can also take it out in those settings earlier. All right, cool. Then we're gonna bring this back up, hit stop recording. Now, if I go to file and show recordings, it's actually gonna show where I recorded to. Usually it's your movies tab, or you can set it up to however you want. Also, if you just go into QuickTime, you can trim this yourself so you can get rid of that extra setting up process. And that way it's just the video itself, and just trim the areas that is playing. All right, so if you're doing these sound breakdowns, how I like to number it so I don't get confused and actually do it out of order is that I always hit 1 with an underscore. Obviously, I say what kind of project this is, so let's just do Western redesign. And then after that, I abbreviate what this actually is. So this is the full mix. I'll just call it FM. And then there you go. So you're going to keep doing this for the rest of your clips. So if I was going to do Foley next, it'll be 2, Western redesign, and then Foley. And now you're all set. So what's the next thing you need to do? Go to the Pro Sound Effects article that's linked in my description. And there you're going to have my exact roadmap of how I leverage my social media and had success getting clients from that. Now, if you want some inspo of what that should look like, go ahead and click right here. It's another video of me that's kind of in that sound design breakdown thing. I'm proof. Other people have been proof that I've seen. It really does work. Start doing that today.